Hello, welcome to my podcast. I want to talk about love and control today and how that impacts upon you in your spiritual growth. If you want to ascend spiritually and do the work, you have to come from love. And this is going to be really difficult sometimes with some people. And the love I'm talking about is unconditional love, not conditional. Conditional love means we love people, but we withdraw the love when they don't do what we want and we punish them. It's a very common practice here on earth. Unconditional love means that we love people. When we can't control them, we don't punish them. We continue to love them unconditionally. From an energetic point of view, the strongest connection we have with people is love. However, in our world of power and control, this is often used as a replacement place to come and relate to other people. I want to explain to you that people can love you and they can love you very much, but they want control and power, and that's why they will be coming from that space. So when they are relating to you, they're not actually coming from the space of love, they're coming from the space of power and control and conditional love. And once you start to figure that out, your life will become a lot easier and everything will become a lot clearer. I just used to think everybody loved everyone else unconditionally because I tended to do that. However, I realised that conditional love is very active here, probably more than anything else, and our society supports punishing people and shutting them out and teaching them a lesson, all of these things. I think they like to call it tough love. I just call it horrible love, but that's just me, because love doesn't hold, as they say, accounts of right and wrong. Conditional love does, though. To come from conditional love means you come from the heart chakra, you come from that space, and that's where you'll be operating from with people. You'll be coming from your heart with them all the time. You will maybe make boundaries, and you'll have things you can and cannot do for your own personal health in relationships. However, ultimately, you'll be coming from your heart chakra. When people are coming from love and control and conditional love, I find they're coming from sort of two spaces. They come from the heart chakra to a degree because they love you, but the overriding space they come from is the solar plexus, and that's the power place, and that's control and getting their own way and doing what they want and getting you to do what they want. It's important to understand the difference because it helps you to relate to people in a different way. You will now understand why you keep being loving and kind to them and they play games. They are withholding love. They do that. People who love you conditionally will withhold love. They love you, but they will not give it to you. And it's an energetic thing. They will not hand it over. So you don't feel nourished in these relationships. You mentally, you know they love you, but you can't feel it. I remember saying to somebody, they were saying something to me, and it was supposed to sound like a loving thing to say. And I said to them, "You're saying this, but I don't feel it. I can't feel this." And that's because it was coming from the solar plexus. It wasn't coming from their heart. They were just saying what they thought they should say, and it was hollow. And that's the other thing you'll find, that what people say when they come from power and control and conditional love will often sound hollow. I'm not saying that the people don't love us. I believe they do in the capacity that they can love. However, there's strings attached to it. And some of these strings are very painful if you're at the end of them, because of the rules and the regulations and how the love can just be snatched from you and taken away at any time. It's like they just cut it and then they switch it back on, and then they cut it and switch it back on. It's not active. Conditional love is on, off, and pretty unnourishing, I feel. Whereas unconditional love, the run is backwards and forwards from you to them all the time. Perhaps not from them all the time, but particularly from you. It's sort of a one-way track from you. Energetically, this has huge impact upon your aura. When you are shut out emotionally like this, it hurts. And you will actually feel the thud. And you will feel that you're not being nourished. And that's the truth, because there's nothing coming back on the line. So you're sending love out on the line. From your heart chakra, you're sending this love out from the line, but they're not sending it. That is the most important thing for you to start to see energetically. There's nothing we can really do about whether people want to give the love, whether they love us or not. The only thing we can do is to continue to love them and hope that by giving them more love, that they will perhaps soften up, learn the lesson. But I've noticed that control freaks will operate in this way, and I don't know. I just keep doing it and keep being loving to them, but I'm not sure if it makes much impact. Maybe it's just for my karmic growth, because it doesn't seem to be doing much for them. They still seem to be playing their games and doing their love tricks. However, for us, it's not really viable to become conditionally loving like they are. It won't feel right. You'll feel you're being mean or cruel. And actually, conditional love is very emotionally cruel and, to a degree, I believe, very abusive, emotionally abusive. So these things will actually start coming in your relationship, and you'll have to decide how much emotional abuse you can take. I think withdrawing on some level, not withdrawing the love, but just a little bit of space from them sometimes helps, so you can keep doing it if you have to stay in that relationship. Because some relationships we have to stay in, we just know it, but we still need to protect ourselves. I'm not sure whether talking to the conditional love people who come from power and control will make much difference. I've tried it. It didn't seem to work. They still continue to come from power and control because it was their first way they did it and they didn't want to change. Sometimes it's genetic too. To come from those sort of families, they will just do the same thing, follow the same pattern. However, there's always choice. Coming from love, unconditional love, is the best way to love people. It also allows you to forgive them more easily, because conditional love people have a lot of trouble forgiving you. And also it means that you're not coming from power and control and trying to assert your will over somebody else. Energetically, conditional love is not very strong. I don't feel it's strong because it's held by power and control, and that limits its energetic capacity of love. It just isn't, sort of like a shadow of real love. However, it is still a form of love, and people can also change if they want to. I have tried to come from love, unconditional love. It's been difficult. I'm not going to tell you it's easy, and I've had to swear a lot and write in my journal just so I can do it, because sometimes some people just push you to the point that it can become quite exasperating, continuing to come from love when they're being not so kind and not so loving. I just think that's my choice and that's my lesson, and that's how I want to do it, so I'll continue to do that. Often there is no change. I've got to be honest with you. In my life, I haven't noticed the power control, conditional love people making much change. But you might be lucky, you might have that happen in your life. But it didn't stop me from doing how I want to do it. And I know that once they cross and they look back and they see their life, they will understand that that was their lesson, to learn to come from love and not power and control. Good luck with this one, because you're going to probably need it. Stand in your truth and stand in being a person who loves unconditionally. Put up your boundaries and have space if you need to, and take care of yourself and nurture yourself, but don't change who you are, and don't step down to that, I believe, lower level energetically of loving conditionally and playing power and control games. This will help you understand the dynamics that are occurring in your life and why you know that people love you but you don't feel loved by them, because basically they're trying to play power and control, coming from their solar plexus, not coming from their heart, and that's why you're not feeling nourished emotionally by them, because energetically they're coming from the wrong space. If they had been coming from love, that would work. I notice sometimes you will get a little seeping out. I notice when I've told people I love them very much, they open the gate for a minute, it comes out their heart, and then the gate closes very quickly upon it, and we're back to the solar plexus type of conditional love. It's a hard one. I'm not going to say it's easy, but don't stop being who you are, the loving, kind and wonderful person that you want to be to other people. And I'm sending you lots of love, unconditional love, and light.